Welcome to Learning for Kids.
Once upon a time there was a little snail who lived in a garden. He loved to explore the different plants and flowers. But he was always careful to avoid the dangers of the outside world. He knew that there were many predators and traps that could harm him. So he always stayed close to his shell and his family. One day he saw a beautiful rose that he had never seen before. It was red and shiny and it smelled so sweet. He felt a strong curiosity to touch it and smell it more closely. He decided to leave his shell and his family behind and he slowly crawled towards the rose. As he approached the rose, he saw that it had many thorns on its stem. He knew that they could hurt him, but he wasn't afraid. He thought that the rose was worth the risk and he continued to risk and he continued to crawl. He reached the rose and gently touched one of its petals. It felt soft and smooth and he smiled. He was about to smell the rose, when he heard a loud buzzing sound. He looked up and saw a big bee flying towards him. He realized that the bee wanted the rose too and he panicked. He knew that the bee could sting him and he had no shell to protect him. He tried to crawl away, but he was too slow. The bee reached the rose and saw the little snail. He was angry that the snail had invaded his territory and decided to teach him a lesson. He flew towards the snail and raised his stinger. He was about to sting the snail, when he heard a loud squawk. He looked up and saw a big bird flying toward him. He realized that the bird wanted him as a snack and he panicked. He tried to fly away, but he was too late. The bird reached the bee and grabbed him with his beak. He swallowed the bee and flew away. The little snail was shocked by what he had seen and he felt a surge of relief. He had escaped the bee, but he had also learned a valuable lesson. He realized that the rose wasn't worth the danger and he decided to return to his shell and his family. He crawled back to his home and hugged his shell. He was happy to be safe and sound and he never left his shell again.